So we're going to start off with talking about talking about Mesopotamia to kind of give you where things are. So if you look over here, here's the things we're going to label. Here's the things we're going to shade. So let's go ahead and label the Tigris and Euphrates River. You should know where those are at this point. So the Euphrates is right here. And then the Tigris is over here. Within this whole section, that's Mesopotamia. Okay, so that's the last civilization that we did, just to kind of give you a little bit of context. So I'm going to go ahead, before I move any farther, make sure I've got that checked off here. And then we're going to do all of our rivers or any bodies of water, of course, will be blue. So there's Tigris and Euphrates, those are rivers, so they need to be blue. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do our other bodies of water while we've got our blue colored pencil. So this right here is a body of water. This is a body of water. Bless you. One more time, and I'm writing you up. And yes, my other class is hearing this because I've already warned you. Stop talking while I'm doing this. All right, bodies of water. So this one right here is the Red Sea. Now, we labeled these on our Mesopotamia map as well. So you should hopefully remember that. So I'm going to go ahead and check off the Red Sea.
Why are we calling the Red Sea?
Over here, we have the Mediterranean Sea, and that also was on your map that we did of for Mesopotamia. So there's the Mediterranean Sea. Now, there's one other body of water that I want to make sure that we have that's very important when we talk about Egypt. And that is the Nile River. The Nile River is the longest river in the world. It's in the continent of Africa. It goes through Egypt. So this little line right here, you can see it's very long. This is the Nile River. The Nile River, as you can see, eventually goes into the Mediterranean Sea. So there's the Nile. So that's all of your rivers. Remember, most of your civilizations are going to be built around rivers. In Mesopotamia, it's the Tigris and Euphrates. In Egypt, it's the Nile River. Okay. Hold your questions until I'm done because I'm recording. All right, so we've done all of our bodies of water. We've shaded those blue. Let's go to the delta, and I want you to get your green out. A delta is one of your vocabulary words, and a delta is when a river empties into this one area and kind of branches off. So right here, where it looks kind of almost like a pyramid shape, I want you to shade that area in. That is a delta. That area has really, really rich, fertile soil because all this good nutrients from the Nile River comes right down there to that delta, and it pretty much it's an area with a lot of soil. It's like the river carries all this soil down and just kind of dumps it right there. And that forms what we call a delta. We'll look at some pictures of that later, but that's going to be a very important area for Egypt because that's where they've got really rich soil. And we know that with a civilization, we need really rich soil if we're going to have good crops, be able to feed our people, and have essentially a civilization. Okay? So That's a delta. Now let's get into some of the places. So where exactly on here then is Egypt? Well, Egypt is in this area right here. So Egypt is divided into two parts. We would call this upper part, or this, we would call it Lower Egypt. And then we have Upper Egypt. Okay. Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. So Egypt, let's do that in, let's shade that in orange. And go figure, I've gotten, somebody get me a orange color pencil. Pack I got doesn't have orange. Thank you. Okay, so this area right here is ancient Egypt. This area in here, we've got Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. Now, a lot of the parts in Egypt are desert area. So you notice here I've got where I want you to label the desert. Over in this part is desert, so you don't really have people living there, but you do have pyramids there. A lot of the pyramids are in the desert. And then this area in here is desert as well. So let's shade the desert yellow. So desert's going to be yellow. And this area right here is desert. Oh. And then all this kind of over here is desert. So Egypt really is surrounded by desert. But because of that river, they have good soil for farming. But most of their farms are going to be right along the river. I know it's kind of hard to see this yellow, but this right here is shaded in. And then this area right here is shaded in the desert as well. Okay. All right, we did the delta. The last one is Nubia, and we're going to talk more about them later. It's in present-day Sudan. So Nubia is down here in the, also along the Nile. We have Lower Nubia and Upper Nubia. And we're going to shade Nubia in red. So that's that area. Yeah, the red and orange do look the same on my document camera. But this is red. Don't write the word red. I'm just doing this so that you know. This should be orange. All right, so that's the map of Egypt.